A friend of mine who calls himself an agnostic Jew. We see each other. He loves to debate with me topics like the age of the universe, the afterlife, Jewish history like the Exodus of Egypt and the 10 plagues and the Kriyas Yamsuf. Loves to put the burden of proof on me that I have to prove all these things to substantiate my lifestyle. I'm wondering this week's Parsha, when he comes up to the mitzvah of Paraduma, what's he going to say? Paraduma it's called a chok. It's an ordinance that we don't fully understand. It's beyond human comprehension. We know that the red heifer, we burn its ashes to purify those that are impure. And then those people that are involved with the burning of the ashes actually become defiled, and they have to go through a purification process. It's a chok. We don't understand it. Rashi says it's the gezerah that Hashem put in front of us. The Sefer Chinuch, famous Sefer that a father writes for his son, explains all the reasons of the mitzvahs, the 613 mitzvahs. When he comes to the mitzvah Paraduma, he writes that his hand shakes and that he's afraid to even open up his mouth to offer up a reason why we have the mitzvah of Paraduma. He quotes King Solomon, the wisest of all men, quoting that the mitzvah Paraduma, the reason of it was a mystery. It was far from him. So how could he even have the gumption, the chutzpah, to offer a reason to his son? Interesting enough, the first time that we learn about Paraduma is actually not in this week's Parsha. Rashi alludes to it in Parshas Beshalach, in Sefer Shmos, when the Jews just crossed the Yamsuf. And 3 days later, they find themselves complaining that there's no water. And then Hashem turns to Moshe and tells Moshe to throw a tree into the bittered waters in Mara and to teach the Jewish people 4 mitzvahs. 1, the mitzvahs of Shabbos, the beauty of Shabbos. 2, Kivud Av V'Aim, honoring one's parents. 3, the integrity and the meaning of monetary damages called dinim. And 4, the mitzvah of Para Aduma. Teach them about Para Aduma. And if you remember, Beshalach, this is before the Jewish people got the Torah. We were not at Har Sinai yet. What is Para Aduma doing before Har Sinai? You cannot even do the mitzvah of Para Aduma after you, before Har Sinai, before you got the Torah. Only afterwards you needed an Ohel Moed, you needed the Kohen. So many technicalities, it wasn't even relevant to the Jewish people. Why is it that Moshe was teaching Paraduma to the Jewish people? And perhaps it's the ultimate mitzvah as a preparation for Kabbalah Satira. Why is that? Paraduma is a chok, zos chukas Satira, we call it. It's not zos chukas impurity. These are the laws of impurity. This is the ordinances of purity and impurity. This is zos chukas Satira. This is the ultimate ordinance, the ultimate mitzvah that gets to the essence of being a Jew. Because we're not going to wrap our heads around everything we do in the Torah. The Torah is godly wisdom. It's much higher than human wisdom. What a humbling experience to be surrounded by godly wisdom. What a humbling experience before Kabbalah Torah to try to live up to the value systems, godly value systems, just as mere mortal men. We have an opportunity to elevate our souls, elevate our experience in this world, to live a godly life. What a privilege. Paraduma is the paradigm of that opportunity, that we're not going to understand everything. We're serving our master, not to question him, but to serve him b'simcha, because he knows what's best for us. Paraduma is specifically taught before Kabbalah Torah to give us that perspective that everything's a chok. We're not going to fully understand everything, but yet we're here to serve Hashem b'simcha, and it's an opportunity and a privilege to go through life having access and the opportunities to come close to that wisdom. Have a great Shabbos.